Are you ready to tame your emotions? Are your emotions just running wild? Like, what in the world? Everything is everywhere, doing everything. Um, if that's the case, let's build some strategies for soul mastery that would help you, empower you to control your emotions. Now, emotions are real, emotions are real and they all have a reason connected to it. So when your emotions are running wild, like a toddler, that's out of control in a candy store when they're not getting the thing that they want, and we feel like we're acting out, how do we regulate them? How can we regulate them? And part of it is not just a choice, but part of it is a strategy. How do you become your own superhero by mastering your emotions? So, one of the things is to name it. Sounds simple, right? To name the emotion, to literally label it so that you can reduce their intensity. Like if you're, or if a child, or if a person is, let's say, angry. So okay, what's going on? How do you feel? Because emotions are feeling, right? So how do you feel? They feel angry. And there's a lot of things, like there's charts out there with faces on it to help kids or even adults let them know their how they feel right now in the moment, and something to name it. Then there's the emotion wheel. There's so many things online that you can help you strategize to name it. But once you name it, you can tame it. Once you name the emotion, then you can literally tame the emotion, because anytime you put a name to something, it gives you a little bit of more control over that something. And when you have an emotion, sometimes, I think in a previous video, I talked about breathing exercises. So sometimes you have to pause for a minute. After you say, I am, or, whatever the emotion is, right? You feel it, then you pause for a minute before you react. I'm going to say it again. You feel it, you name it, then you pause for a minute before you literally have an outward reaction for an inward feeling. So you get a chance to just not name it, but tame it in a way that you pause between the name and the tame, so that you pause for a minute. You may have to count to 10. You may have to do the 5 synchronous breathing exercise. I said, breathe in for the count of 5, hold for the count of 5, then release for the count of 5, and rest for the 5 count. You may have to do something like that, or you may have to count from 1 to 10 just to bring it back. Now, when you do that, it doesn't mean intensify that emotion during that time. It means control and bring yourself down, to bring energy and calm back to you so that you can respond as you really desire to respond, and not just from the emotional perspective. And then lastly, to actually focus on the positive. So when you name it, you take the pause, right, before you tame it, and then you literally focus on the positive side of how you can respond or what you can do. And that's just really important. So when you're ready to boss or be the boss over your emotions, think about those things. And then the thing that I love, and I look at it, is that when you master your emotions, you help master your life. You help master being in a meeting and going off and you can't take it back. You master being in a relationship and saying words or doing something from an emotional perspective that you cannot undo. And that is critical. So, why would you want to master your emotions? Number one is part of soul mastery, right? However, when you control your emotions, you are um, no longer reacting to life, and you're managing, or you're creating the life that you desire. Okay, I'm gonna say it again. You're no longer just reacting to life. You're literally creating the life that you desire to build. And it causes you to be healthier emotionally, physically, deals with stress, and helps you with relationships and clearer decisions and lasting peace, right? All of those things. So when you remember, you name it, you pause, you claim it, then you go for the positive reaction, right? The positive. And then the one thing, the take action piece that I want to provide you today is to practice naming your emotion. You know, the ones that get you in trouble. You know, the ones that keep on popping up in your life. Literally, name them and then journal. Um, and that is really important to journal. This is the way you feel, this is what happened, this is the trigger or whatever happened, and then move forward. So what are you going to do to name what is your hot topic or emotion, right? What is the thing that keeps on coming back, and in some cases even appears to be sabotaging, or there's a negative result to you feeling that emotion because you're responding to the emotion. Then when you think about it, say how you're going to change. Now this is a strategy for for your mind. Say, when, let's say there's a person that keeps on poking the bear, is what I call it, to bring up an emotion in you. So when this happens, this is the way I'm going to respond. So it's an if, then that. Okay. If this happens, this, right? And then how are you going to respond? Because you're going to feel the emotion. The emotion is real. So then you're going to remember, you're going to see the emotion, you're going to feel the emotion for just a moment, then you're going to pause the emotion, then you're going to tame it because you're going to respond to it in a positive manner. And that's going to help you take control of your emotion, to regulate it. Use that word regulation. And it's going to help you have better relationships. Because remember, I'm Johnnie. I'm the person, the mindset maven that helps you bridge the gap between what you know and what you do. See, we know. However, there is a gap between what we know and what we do. And doing this simple thing, like being able to name the emotion, pausing for a moment, then claiming, or then to move forward from the emotion, because you're not just reacting to it, right? So you look at it in such a way that you just pause before you react to it, and then you focus on the positive. Have an amazing day, because you're in control of your response to any and every emotion.